assembled devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. This is Radha from Baltimore. Welcoming all of you to Bhakti Sangha conference call. I thank you, all of you, for attending this session. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy names, which are to be avoided, written by Srila Vyasadeva in the Padma Purana. 1. To bless the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruity activities, karma kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be ignorant while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank you everyone for joining the Bhakti Sangha conference call today. Let us move to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all have joined the call this morning? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Preeti Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances always to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvind Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvind Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances always to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Tiffany Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances always to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandvat Pranam to you and all Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vrunda Gopika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, this is Balavinda.
Hare Krishna, Balarunda. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. I offer my obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I couldn't able to hear Mataji, your voice. No, Mataji.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Shama Gauri Devidasi from Srila.
Hare Krishna, Shama Gauri Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam to Swami Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. This is Asha from Canada.
Hare Krishna, Asha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Shiromani Nandarani Devidasi. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Shiromani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody else who would like to introduce? Hare Krishna, welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are fortunate to have His Grace Pran Govind Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto, 1st chapter, text 12 onwards. First, I would like to hand over call to Suresham Prabhuji for a brief introduction of Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Suresham Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. I would like to hand over call to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. So here is a brief introduction about Prabhuji. His Grace Pran Govind Prabhuji was born in Komila, Rampinagara in East Pakistan in 1962. Prabhuji later shifted to Tripura, India. It was in 1971 when he saw Srila Prabhupada first time during a program. He decided to become devotee. In 1977, he visited Mayapur for the first time and was initiated by Brahmananda Maharaj in 1979. From 81 to 86, Prabhuji was working in Mayapur as a guest house manager. In 96, during the 500th anniversary of Lord Chaitanya, he served as the first general manager in Mayapur, managing the Gaur Purnima festival. From 80 to 89, Prabhuji served as a facilitator of prasadam and accommodations for GBCs, sannyasis, devotees, and life members. He also served as a life membership director and fundraiser for Mayapur temple. In 1989, His Holiness Bhakticharu Swami Maharaj and His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj kindly took him with them to travel across Europe. They then brought him to America, where His Holiness Badrinarayan Maharaj and His Holiness Mukunda Goswami, who knew him from Mayapur, engaged him in cultivating congregational services in San Diego, California. Prabhuji took to Vanaprastha in 2012. Prabhuji has been serving the Alachua devotees for many years. Prabhuji travels across various parts of America, preaching the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Back to you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Beautiful introduction. Yeah, Prabhuji not yet joined Mataji, so we can do chanting until Prabhuji comes back. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Prabhuji is there.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Pran Govind Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for giving your valuable time and association to us this morning. On the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, I would like to hand over call to you, Prabhuji. Welcome back to Bhakti Sangha Group. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible, Mata?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Did I send a song? I was going to sing that.
Yes, Prabhuji. I will share the screen.
Oh, thank you, Shurasha Prabhu. Nice to hear you.
Yeah, this is the one, right, Prabhu, by Bhakti Vinod Thakur.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
It's related to today's verse. So. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I'm very grateful to be here with all of you. If you like, you can participate in this beautiful song Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes about our life related to this chapter. anadi karama phale paribhavana bajale taribare na dekhi upaye এ বিষয় হলাহলে দিবানিশি হিয়া জলে মন কভু সুখ নাহি পায় আশা পাশ সত সত ক্লেশ দেয় বিরত প্রবৃত্তি উনিরতা হে খেলা কাম ক্রোধ আদি ছয় বাত পাদে দেহ ভয় অবসান হই আসি বেলা জ্ঞান কর্মতে গদয়ে মরে প্রাতরিয়ালয় অবশেষে ফেলে সিন্ধু জলে এহেন সময়ে বন্ধু তুমি কৃষ্ণ কৃপা সিন্ধু কৃপা করি তলমরে বলে পতিত কিঙ্করে ধরি পাদ পদ্ম ধূলি করি দেহ ভক্তি বিনোদে আশ্রয় আমি তব নিত্য দাস ভুলি আমায় আর পাশ বদ্ধ হয়ে আছি দয়াময় আমি তব নিত্য দাস ভুলি আমায় আর পাশ বদ্ধ হয়ে আছি দয়া কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম রাম হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম রাম হরে হরে জয় প্রভুপাদ 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 গুরুদেব 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 জয় জয় গুরুদেব জয় জয় গুরুদেব 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 জয় জয় গুরুদেব জয় বিষ্ণুপাদ পরমহংস পরিব্রাজ গচ্ছার্য स्तुतं भय चरणरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी जगद्गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय ISKCON BBT founder Acharya His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivraj Acharya Astutar Satasi Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Das Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Mother Radha Devi Dasi. Do you like to read, or maybe you all can share the translation, please?
Yes, Prabhuji. Sure. One, I have fallen into the of material existence as a result of my selfish activities, which are without beginning, and I see no means of deliverance from this great ocean of nescience. Day and night, my heart burns from the poison of these worldly activities, and on account of his, my mind never finds any satisfaction or happiness. Can someone read?
Yeah, hundreds and thousands of desires like nooses around my neck constantly give me misery and trouble. In that great nescience play the waves of materialistic tendency. In this world, there are many thieves and rogues, of whom 6 are prominent: lust, anger, greed, illusion, and madness. They are causing me great fear, and in this way, my life is coming to an end. Hare Krishna.
The two highway robbers, mental speculation and fruitive activity, have cheated me and misled me, and finally they are throwing me into the ocean of misery. At such a time as this, my dear Krishna, you are the only friend, and you are the ocean of mercy and compassion. I have no strength to give out of this ocean of nescience. So I pray to your lotus feet that you will be kind and by your strength uplift me from this ocean of suffering. Hare Krishna.
Accept this fallen servant and fix me as a particle of dust on your lotus feet. Kindly give me shelter to this bhakti vinoda. O most merciful Lord, actually I am your eternal servant, but having forgotten this, I have become bound up in the network of Maya. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Thank you. So, I'd like to welcome you again. And today we are reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, Text 12. At the beginning of my recitation, I would like to request all of you to fold your hand and invoke the mercy of Lord Vasudev so that our consciousness always remain clear to perceive the Lord's presence in the Bhagavatam, through the Bhagavatam, with the Bhagavatam. So please, since it is the Zoom, you can repeat together. You can recite together. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Mukam Karati Vachalam Pangulangayate Girim Jat kripatamaham bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Paramananda Madhavam. This is a beautiful verse. I'm sure you all are probably more excited than myself that this 3 chapter, first, second, and third, I call it, this is not any Acharya's opinion, my opinion is just, I always think of like escaping pain, escaping hell. This is what this 3 chapter and the mercy of the Lord in the form of holy names. So this is very exciting chapter to me always. I mean, this 3 chapter, whole Bhagavatam, but still this 3 chapter is called Escaping Hell. Because Canto 6 described the epic pastimes of Ajamil's near-death experience. And you all know, Daksha's, of course, that will come later. So you create a question and hopefully next few weeks you'll find the answer. Who is responsible for Ajamil's death? I mean, Ajamil's, you can say, he was a devotee, then he fell for it and suffered, about to go to get punished by Jamadutas. Who is responsible and how much? And this is a wonderful chapter. This way we can actually completely liberate ourselves just from this one chapter. It's so wonderful. So today's sloka 12, it talks about if one is sinful. Well, first question is what is sin means and what is sinful means. Then the heart is impure. So while we are reciting this verse, you can see if you can catch it. Then if one is sinful, his heart is impure and he cannot practice jnana. And if he does not practice jnana, means discriminating power. What will bind me? What will liberate me? If this is not within me, I cannot go further in spiritual life. What to talk about atonement? Of course, in the beginning, even till today's verse also about atonement also. But this is very relevant to our life because sometimes we think, why am I not advancing? Why can't I protect myself with the help of Prabhupada and Krishna always? Why do my mind just pull me here, there? This verse is giving very nice, I would say, GPS of that question. So the word-to-word meaning, na means not. Ashnataha, those who eat. So nashnataha, together when we recite the verse. So you can just, I just break down so that when we recite the verse, you are aware of it. Then it says pathayam. Pathayam means suitable. Eva, indeed. Annam, anna, food, annam. Vedaya, different types of disease. Avibhavanti, overcome. He, indeed. Evam, similarly. Niyamakrit, one following regulative principles. Rajan, O king. Sanai, gradually. Shkemaya, for well-being. Kalpate, becomes fit. Nasnata patham evannam vedayo vedayo abhivantihi evam niyama kridrajan sanneshkemaya kalpate. Would someone else would like to read? Maybe 3 person, if possible. It's a beautiful verse.
I can try, Prabhu.
Okay.
Nasnata pathyam evannam vyadhayo bhilbhavantihi evam niyama Rajan Sanaihi Shemaya Kalpate.
Okay.
Thank you, Pran Govind Prabhu.
I will do, Prabhuji. Nasnat patayam evanam yadyayo bhivavantihi evam niyama krutrajan sanaiha kshemaya kalpate.
Okay, one more. Prabhupada said 3. I mean, he didn't say 3, but generally there was the standard
Prahlad
3 at
Prabhu,
least.
Prahlad Ananda Prabhu, आप पढ़िए.
नास्नतः पथ्यम् एवान्नम् व्याधयो अभिभवन्ति एवं यम् अक्रुद्धराजन् सनेहि क्षमाय कल्पते. Hari Bol.
Prahladananda Prabhu has a melodious voice.
Oh, Hari Bol, thank you. Oh, Hari Bol.
Nice to hear you, Prabhu. Okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Translation, my dear King, if a diseased person eats the pure, uncontaminated food prescribed by a physician, he is gradually cured. Now, this is a metaphor also. It is not just as it is. I hope you are catching that. And the infection of disease can no longer touch him. Similarly, if one follows the regulative principles of knowledge, he gradually progresses towards liberation from material contamination. Now, it is talking about how knowledge can illuminate our heart so we can see and we can follow the process and easy. But in the purport, Prabhupada gives something heavy, negative and positive. See if we can catch while we read it. Would someone else to read the purport? So other can catch also, please.
I can read, Prabhu. One is gradually purified if one cultivates knowledge, even through mental speculation, and strictly follows the regulative principles enjoined in the Shastras and explained in the next verse. Therefore, the platform of jnana, speculative knowledge, is better than the platform of karma, fruitive action. There is every chance of falling from the platform of karma to hellish conditions. But on the platform of jnana, one is saved from hellish life, although one is still not completely free from infection. The difficulty is that on the platform of jnana, one thinks that he has been liberated and has become Narayana or Bhagavan. This is another phase of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
There is more.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I will try this. Ye anye aravindaksha vimukta maninas tavyasta bhavad avishuddha buddhayaha aruya krichrena param padam tataha patanti adaho anadritha yushmad angrayaha. This is from Bhagavatam 10:32. Because of ignorance, one speculatively thinks himself liberated from material contamination, although actually he is not. Therefore, even if one rises to Brahma Jnana, understanding of Brahman, one nevertheless falls down because of not taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Nonetheless, jnanis at least know what is sinful and what is pious, and they very cautiously act according to the injunctions of the Shastras. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Very nice. Thank you. Om Jnanati Mirandhassa Ghenanjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namo Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Nitanscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpa Taruvesha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Titanam Pavanibho Vaishnavibho Namo Namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. This is a beautiful purport and a beautiful sloka too. In the purport, Prabhupada gives two sides. One side, the benefits of jnana yogi. Arjuna even expressed to become a jnana yogi. He said, what if I am qualified? But seems like Krishna did not encourage him. He says, no, go to karma yoga. But jnana yoga is higher. Krishna repeated, no, do your karma yoga. Then Arjuna says, what if I am qualified for jnana yoga? What is the purpose of jnana yoga? Liberation. No more suffering in this world. I don't have to kill my relative. I can go to the forest and study Shastra until last breath and liberation done. I'm not hurting anyone. But karma yoga, I have to kill my grandfather and big mess. I don't know if the peace will come after this. And I don't know if liberation will come. But Krishna is so kind because he knows everything. He said, yes, Arjuna, even if you are qualified, you think the Jnana Yoga is higher than Karma Yoga. I'm still encouraging you to do the Karma Yoga because Jagyarthat Karmana Annatra Lokayam Karma Bandhana. Tadartham Karma Kunteya Mukta Sangha Samachare. Yes, Mukta. You will get liberation. You will be happy. So what is the difference still? Okay, Jnana Yoga will be also liberation, Karma Yoga. The biggest point, this is Krishna very kindly, out of compassion, he revealed that we are born with psychophysical nature. Nisarga. This is Bhagavad-Gita 3.35. You can look at Prabhupada used that word and he explained what is psychophysical nature. That Arjuna born with fighting spirit of Kshatriya. He has no choice in this life not to fight. Then what is the difference? Why Bhagavad-Gita is spoken to him? To make a choice, conscious choice. Prabhus and mothers, this is my request. to all of you. I'm sure you all are acting on that platform. But we are aware and we need to engage the whole world. Otherwise, there is no way they can get out of this karma cycle. Absolutely no. Without bhakti intervene in their life, absolutely they cannot go. Why? Because bhakti promotes Arjuna to fight for Krishna. And if he does not fight for Krishna, he has to fight for his Maya, Krishna's Maya. There is no third choice. What if I don't believe? You are under Maya. It doesn't matter. There is no option other. That choice we have to make. But before we make the choice, Krishna gave all the details, benefit, outcome. If he fight for Krishna, what will be the outcome? And if he doesn't fight for Krishna, he will still fight in the forest while studying maybe some shastra to become Jnana Yogi. So I made a little PowerPoint on this. What is the problem of these Gyanis? This is not anybody's opinion. It's my opinion because I was trying to listen all the Prabhupada's lecture one time. They used to sell this from Krishna.com. And I remember, of course I don't remember, but it was going on and on and on and on for 6 months. You can just listen one after another, one after another. They still have it maybe. My assumption was Srila Prabhupada talks 30% against this impersonalism, Mayavad. In his every lecture, he points out some. And I was little bit disturbed because I don't understand bhakti. Still, I don't understand bhakti, but still I have some attraction is there by his mercy. But my disturbance was why Prabhupada is so much emphasizing on this impersonalist. So I was talking to Mahatma Prabhu one day, and Mahatma Prabhu says a very interesting thing. He says, one time Srila Prabhupada was giving class, and Keshav Bharati Prabhu, he's a sannyasi now, but he used to be brahmachari. He was sitting near Prabhupada's Besasana, and Prabhupada was very heavy on these Mayavad topics. He said, they are destroying the world. People's consciousness being polluted. This atheism, impersonalism is flooding the world. So he thought there is a group of Indians are called Mayavadis in India. This was Keshav Prabhu's idea was at that time. He's a sannyasi, as I said. So he thought, so after the class, he said, Prabhupada, you are a little angry with this Mayavads. Is it some kind of a group somewhere in India? It's so hilarious. I'm laughing, but it was not a laughing. Prabhupada was actually angry. He said, no, I'm talking about you. He got shocked. You are talking about me in the class? He said, yes. Then Prabhupada said, we are born with this Mayavad impersonalism. Now, any one of you has Bhagavad-Gita in front of you, you look at it, 4.10. Prabhupada said you are born with 3 things, and one of them is Mayabadism. It's not a congratulation birthday gift. It is a bad gift. No, I don't know. Do you see bad gift, an English word? I don't know. It's a contamination. The impersonalism, voidism, laziness in spiritual life. If you look at 4.10, in the middle purport, before Ado Shraddha, before that, in a paragraph, you will see Prabhupada said, we are born with this 3 attachment. It's very deadly, scary. And we don't have any choice but to get rid of it. If you can get rid of it, you are pure devotee. Is it possible? Yes, you can get rid of it. Your willingness. So recently also we were I was listening in memories of Madhuvisa Maharaj's. He was very intimate to Prabhupada. He did so much service in Australia, unbelievable. Today, Australia has so many thousands of devotees because of great many devotees. One of them was Madhuvisa Maharaj. He worked very hard, Western Bari, but worked very hard. Prabhupada used to love him. So one time it says that he was in the airplane and he was sitting next to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada asked Madhuvisa, okay, we are both sitting here. Let's have an argument on Mayabadism. And Madhuvisa Maharaj was thinking, he was his secretary, but he didn't know that how to argue with his guru. So you act like a Mayavadi and I will act like a devotee. Prabhupada told this to Madhuvisa Maharaj. So Madhuvisa Maharaj gave all these arguments. I don't believe in personal form of God and I don't accept. And he was giving, and Prabhupada was like literally chopping him into pieces. They're both in the airplane, So then after that, he felt like, my God, I have nothing to ask. Like every question I ask, he like cut it through. So then Prabhupada turned back. He said, okay, now is your turn. You act like a devotee and I will act like a Mayavadi. Then Madhuvisa Maharaj got excited. He said, all right, now probably I will. I mean, he didn't want to defeat Prabhupada, but Prabhupada gave him chance to have that argument. And he gave all kinds of, he was repeating what Prabhupada also, how he cut the other side. So he was giving all these weird questions. And Prabhupada gave such a heavy question on behalf of Mayavadis, where Madhuvisa Maharaj's, all the answer as a devotee was cut into pieces. And Madhuvisa Maharaj felt like, my God, I'm never going to win any, ever. Prabhupada is so genius on this philosophy, is like unbelievable. But what remarked, he said, I love the way Prabhupada expressed at the end. He said, I want all my followers be strong in philosophy so you can defeat all other nonsense, impersonalism, Mayavad philosophy that flooding the world, and make sure you never get defeated. He said, wow, that's a mercy of Prabhupada. So Prabhus and mothers, you all are in that road. Prabhupada blessed us, we should become. With that note, I'm going to share a PPP I made just on this Mayavadi. Maybe if you are scared that whether you want to check whether you have a impersonalism within you, you can close your eye. You don't have to look at that slide. We can go to the next one. But in case if you want to test whether you have impersonalism within you or not, you don't have to answer me. You don't have to answer anyone. You can answer to yourself. But Krishna knows in your heart. Am I visible? Someone, please.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So I put a question, am I Mayavadi? How do you answer? You read this verse 410. I found Prabhupada's purport was very profound. Can someone read the top, please? Just the top 3 lines. This is Prabhupada's opinion. It's not my heading, just Prabhupada's. Someone please read the top.
Yes, Prabhuji. One has to get rid of all 3 stages of attachment to the material world: negligence of a spiritual life, fear of a spiritual personal identity, and the conception of void that underlies the frustration of life.
So first one is Karmi, second one is Mayavadi, third one is Buddhism. We are born with it. Welcome. I mean, when you celebrate birthday, I feel like, oh my God, I was born with those three. What is the celebration of birthday? I was like a little disappointed. Now, how do you determine right at this moment whether you have any trace of Mayavadism or not? So I'll give you, I'm sure you heard this, me speaking this before. Someone please read this one. And then you don't have to answer, you check yourself how much you have attachment and detachment.
The materialists are detached from Krishna and attached to matter. So at the top, there are 4 categories of people with respect to their relationship with matter and with Krishna. The materialists are detached from Krishna and attached to the matter. The impersonalist Mayavadis are detached from matter, but they are detached from Krishna also. The Sahajiyas are attached to Krishna, but they are attached to matter also. And the devotees are attached to Krishna and detached from matter. So among these 4 categories of people, those who are attached to Krishna and detached from matter, the devotees are the best. But along with that, attachment to Krishna is always auspicious. So relatively speaking, the Sahajiyas who are attached.
Oh, it's cut off. In other words, if I ask you a question, let me see if I can do it. It doesn't go, sorry. Question was, is Sahajiya better than Mayavadis? Because we also said, don't associate with Sahajiyas. Sahajiyas can, well, in one lecture, Prabhupada says, Sahajiyas are bad, but it is worse when our people will take this path. That means, how do I say it? I don't want to be I don't want any one of you to be judgmental. I pray to all of you, I beg you. But if you see some of the members, even in ISKCON, may adopt Sahajiyasm, means they will do nonsense, smoking or whatever, and they're practicing as if like it is. That's what Sahajiyas does. Because Prabhupada said, that means it will be there. I know that. He gave sannyas, he said some of our sannyasi will fall down. He even gave a hint who will fall down. And they did. It's like a very miracle. Like, why he's giving sannyas then? Because he saw the benefit that they will do that push of bhakti to an extent that whole life they will not be able to do. So Prabhupada was very aware, completely aware why he did things he did. But he also gave the clear cut that yes, they will fall down. And he did that devotee. He also says Sahajiyas are bad, but then he says some of our member may adopt this in our society. That will be the worst. So we should be aware. But in this case, they're better than Mayavadis because they are not giving up loving Krishna. So in that sense. Okay. Now, who are those impersonalist Gyanis that Prabhupada put in the purport, or many, many purport you'll find that they are there. So I'm going to give you a little clue. Please identify yourself where you are out of these 4 stages. Can someone read who did not read yet?
Hare Krishna, I can read. Prabhu, okay. There are 4 stages of learning. As a person learns a skill or behavior, they go through the 4 stages. Number 1, stage 1, unconscious incompetence. Stage 2, conscious incompetence. Stage 3, conscious competence. Stage 4, unconscious competence.
Okay,
Hare
good.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mata. Now I'm going to show you the Mayavadism. Let's see where the screen is. Krishna. Okay. I'm sure you all are aware of it, but I put a list of things. If you see these things within you, that means the contamination is still there. You need to remove it as fast as possible, like yesterday. You know, the expression yesterday means it should have gone. It should not have been in my consciousness. Smriti Prasthan is rejected by Mayavadis. They do accept, even though I'll show you this part. Oh, this is the purport you can read. Prabhupada explained this. Adilila 7.117. But because of the time, we're not going to read the whole thing. But this is the chart. We came up with this. Prastantraya is accepted by Vaishnavas also, even though it's made by Sankaracharya. Now the bottom line, can someone read the bottom line? This is Prabhupada is speaking. This is just a key point.
Mayavadi philosophers accept only the Nyaya Prasthan and Shruti Prasthan. They reject Smruti Prasthan. If one believes in the Vedic literatures, one must accept all the Vedic literatures recognized by the great acharyas.
Very
so
good.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cites evidence from the Gita, Vishnu Puran, etc., which are Smruti Prasthan. Hari.
Thank you, Prabhu. This is another mistake. They're misunderstanding. What is it? This is the entire dharma. Whenever you talk about religion or dharma, you can put all the dharma in the world within this chart. Of course, this is in a what do you call bullet point. But all the religion of the world comes under this chart. In a sense, this I made it up from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's entire explanation of dharma. Can someone please tell me which dharma is Hare Krishna philosophy belongs to in these three categories?
Nitya Dharma.
Very good. Nitya Dharma, you have three components. You have to always talk within yourself. I am eternal. Krishna is eternal. My relationship is eternal. I am eternal. Krishna is eternal. My relationship is eternal. I am eternal. Krishna is eternal. My relation. You have to 24 hours a day. You have to have a strong foundation belief. Any philosophy don't come to this standard, they are not eternal dharma. They are under. We don't know if it is a religion or whatever. Where this Mayavadi comes, where this Gyanis come, where Jainism comes, Buddhism comes, Christianity comes, you can put all the religion within this category and you'll say, oh my God, it's scary. It is scary. And I gave the reference also in Prabhupada's book, 7th Canto, 15th chapter 12. If you look at the bottom slide, there is a one religion, one of the biggest prominent religion in the world. I don't like to say the name. They literally believe these three eternal Nitya Dharma, not at all. They do not accept that. They are not even religion, but they are known as one of the biggest religion. Mayavadi does not accept Nitya Dharma. They accept Naimittik Dharma mixed with Anitya Dharma. Nothing to do with Nitya Dharma. What is the danger of hearing Mayavadism? This is the point I made. Okay. This is what Mahaprabhu mentioned this to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Jiver nistare lagi sutra koila besh Mayavadi bhasya sunile hai sarvanas. Srila Vyasdev presented Vedanta philosophy for the deliverance of conditioned soul, but if one hears the commentary of Shankaracharya, everything is spoiled. Now you see why Prabhupada is following Mahaprabhu's path and why he is giving so compassionately all these clues. So I made 16 points. If you can catch all the 16 points, I will touch your feet and I'll ask for blessing, because this is a wonderful. There could be more. I just didn't have enough time, but I tried to put this. So first, and I'm giving reference where I'm getting this from. Maybe we can just read it very quick. Number one, who would like to volunteer? Please go for it, one by one.
For each sutra, the direct meaning must be accepted without interpretation. However, you simply bend the direct meaning and proceed with your imaginative. I cannot read after that, Prabhu.
I wonder why. Sorry, I don't know. Maybe the slide I made. Oh no, it went in wrong. Okay. Oh, it went to 2. Imaginative interpretation. I'm sorry, I have to figure it out how to put it in there. So first point, thank you, Mataji. First point, I hope you remember. They always take the secondary meaning. They never take the primary, direct meaning of the Shastra. So this is the fault. I'm just giving you the fault. It is all Mahaprabhu explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Second, someone please. What is the second fault?
Actually, read.
Actually,
The supreme.
Actually, the Supreme Absolute Truth is a person, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full with all opulence. You are trying to explain him is impersonal and formal. Yes.
Thank you. You have a very sweet voice. So the second fault is that Supreme Personality of Godhead is endowed with 6 opulences, but they will not accept that. They think it's formless, impersonal. So I hope you can, at the end of the class, you can give me some reflection. Yes, Mayavadi's fault is they don't accept the 6 opulences. They accept is a formless, is useless. Number 3. Number 3, someone please.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead has the 3 primary potencies. Are you trying to prove that he has no potencies?
Very good. Actually, they do. And the purport, I didn't put the purport because it's big purport Prabhupada gave. So the third point is now ask yourself, whenever you think of Krishna, you always think with Radharani, with unlimited potency. Do not ever think like a alone, standing on a globe. I remember on the footpath of Calcutta, I used to see some guys selling those posters. God on the globe alone. The concept of God we accept, always endowed with full of potency, inconceivable potency, inconceivable potency. And if you cannot accept inconceivable potency with the God, then your conception of God is imperfect. This is very important. Okay, then point 4. Someone please. Oh, that translation is also.
In his spiritual potency, the Supreme Lord enjoys 6 kinds of opulences. You do not accept this spiritual potency, and this is due to your great impudence.
Okay. They do not consider Bhagavan. You know what they give? The other side, I could not put it here. They talk that, oh, God is like Jagannath. It's like a non-moving dead matter made the deity. Why you say is a opulence and all this? No, it is just a dead matter particle. This is a big fault they have. Number 5. Someone, please.
The Lord is the master of the potencies, and the living entity is a servant of them. That is the difference between the Lord and the living entity. However, you declare that the Lord and the living entities are one and the same.
So I didn't put this, but I want everybody to remember this. There are 5 eternal differences. So I put the heading 5 Nitya Bhed, Mayavadi established Abhed. So 5 eternal difference, Madhacharya established. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is the Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur's opinion, that why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Madhacharya, not other Sampradaya. Because all the other 3 Sampradaya, they said monism, pure monism, more speciality on monism, monism with dualism. Is a Shuddha Advaitavad, Vishishta Advaitavad, Dvaita Advaitavad. But Madhacharya did not say anything that he says Dvaitavad, dualism. Mahaprabhu loved it. He did not say one. You'll see always he has a 2 finger, dualism. So there are 5 eternal differences. And I would like to hear from someone if you are familiar with those 5 eternal differences. I'm sure you heard this many times. If not, I'm going to give it right now, and end of the class, you have to give me back. So we'll have exchange. There's eternal difference between God and the servant, soul. Soul and Krishna, eternal difference. Second, there's eternal difference between Maya and Krishna. They're never one. Even though it's inseparable, but it is not one. Third, there's eternal difference between each elements in the material nature. That's why Krishna quoted this. He did not say one substance. He said, Bhumi, Apa, Anala, Vayu, Kham, Mana, Buddhi, Evacha. Madhacharya put that. Why Krishna has to utter all these 8 names? Because they are eternally different from each other. Oh, Mayavadi does not like that because they don't know how to explain that word. And Madhacharya smashed them with this. Then the 4th difference is there are eternal difference between every soul. You and me, when this body dissolves, our individuality is intact by our eternal relationship with Krishna, with eternal service attitude, service form, service under guidance, group, a particular service, and particular quality that no soul has. What I have, Krishna gave, none of you have. What Prahladananda Prabhu has, none of us has. Cannot be replaced, cannot be duplicated or alternate or anything. So these 5 eternal difference. Did I say this? Yeah, and then the last one is there's eternal difference between soul and Maya. We are never, ever same substance, even though we come from Krishna. Maya is composed with her components. We are composed with our own components. And we have our own position, own function, own nature. Maya Devi does not have any of. In our structure, in our origin formation, no trace of Maya. So these 5 eternal difference, Mayavadi don't accept. And we 100% based on that. Okay, this is the number 5. Let's see if we can finish. Number 6, someone please.
The transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is complete in eternity, cognizance and bliss. However, you describe this transcendental form as a product of material goodness.
Do you know who did this? Mother, I don't know who you're reciting. I cannot see their names. Do you know who did this? You can read this one also. Hiranyakashipu, many other. I mean, big demon, Ravana, even Kamsa. He was a great worshipper of Lord Shiva. And by Lord Shiva's power, he was against Krishna and he was establishing. Can someone read this? This Kangsha, see what he says. What you read before, see if it matches this one. Someone, please.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead has given up his natural tendency of equality toward the demons and demigods. Although he is the Supreme Person, now influenced by Maya, he has assumed the form of a boar to please his devotees. The demigods, just as a restless child learns toward someone. I shall therefore sever Lord Vishnu's head from his trunk by my trident, and with the profuse blood from his body, I shall please my brother Hiranyaksa, who was so, I can't see the rest of it.
Oh, Krishna, I'm sorry. Who was so fond of sucking blood, that I shall too be peaceful. Now on the top, I put this is my writing on the top, that in this sloka of Bhagavatam 7.2.78, you can see what Mayavadi thinks. He said he can sever the head of the God. That means they don't believe God has an eternal form. It can be cut. First. Second, he also thinks that God's form are not eternal, made by Maya. I hope everybody caught that. This is how Ravana used to think, that he can kill Ram. They don't accept the eternal form of God. Okay, then number 7. We have to go faster because 15 points, we'll see. Number 7, let's see. Someone, please.
Shankaracharya's theory.
Go ahead, Mata.
Shankaracharya's theory states that the absolute truth is transformed. By accepting this theory of Mayavadi, philosopher denigrate Srila Vyasadeva by accusing him of error. They thus find fault in the Vedanta Sutra and interpret it to try to establish the theory of illusion.
So we have to be very careful. If we don't respect the authority, we may have this Mayabadism also. This is a very interesting key point here, that Vyasdev's authority was ignored. Okay, number 8. Someone, please.
I can read, Prabhu. The subsidiary vibration, Tattvam Asi, you are the same, is meant for the understanding of the living entity, but the principal vibration is Omkara. Not caring for Omkara, Shankaracharya has stressed the vibration Tattvam Asi.
Very good. So there are 4 principles they follow. Here Mahaprabhu explained. First is, who am I? Aham Brahmasmi. Who are you? Tattamasi. You are that. I am Brahman. You are the Brahman. So what about everything else around me? Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahman. Oh, so what are you doing? If I am Brahman, you are Brahman, everything is Brahman, then what we are doing? Pragyanam Brahma. We want to become that Brahman. Oh, so we are not Brahman now? Said no. That is the 4 principle they believe, but they do not accept the Om. So we say we don't accept your this 4 philosophy because you don't accept the main substance, that Om, where this Sabda Brahma emanated. Okay, number 9.
Hare Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, Mayavadi impersonalists are great offenders unto Lord Krishna. Therefore, they simply utter the words Brahman, Atma, and Chaitanya.
Thank you, Mata. In case somebody ever wondered, I'm sure you all are chanting pure name or close to that. But in case if you think like, why I'm not advancing on the chanting pure name, impersonalism is contaminated there. Little contamination will not allow one to chant pure name. Number 10, and the reason is they have a misconception. Number 10. Someone, please. 10, 11 together. I mean 10.
Hare Krishna. Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes,
the Lord's holy name, his form, and his personality are all one and the same. There is no difference between them. Since all of them are absolute, they are transcendentally blissful. There is no difference between Krishna's body and himself or between his name and himself. As far as the conditioned soul is concerned, everything is different. One's name is different from the body and from one's original form and so on. Hare Krishna.
Very good. I'm going to give you a little hint that it was disturbing me for decades. Recently, like last maybe 10, 12 years, Jiva Goswami Pad's explanation with Prabhupada's purport, at least I feel like it removed from my heart. So I'm going to share you that lot of time, maybe none of you have any doubt, but in case in future you find someone who has a doubt. Actually, there was a senior devotee, he passed away. He told me one time, Pran Govind, it's very hard to really formalize that Krishna has eternal form. I mean, I love deity. I'm there every day, Mangalarti, you know, I'm there. But somehow or other, deep down in my heart, this impersonalism, that his eternal form, is just difficult for me to. Maybe none of you have this, but in case if you feel, try to help them. First medicine is that devotee, whether mothers or Prabhus, if they cannot meditate on an eternal form, they think like this is like a deity made of marble from Jaipur, from Mayapur, some Nimut. I don't know, maybe that thought never came, but it did come to me. I was contaminated, maybe still there, but it is not anymore surfing. So I found a very nice conclusive that until bhava arises in our heart, what we go through, the irrevocable conclusion is that satsang, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, that serious, sincere devotees association is the root of all spiritual advancement. Always it should be in the forefront. Sadhu Sangha, serious Sadhu Sangha is the root of all spiritual advancement. So when one associates with devotees of Bhagavan who are fully situated in divine consciousness, you will awaken transcendental affection. Prabhus and mothers, remember this. By their association, when you have a submissive attitude, want to serve, and your consciousness is uplifted, you will experience and awaken transcendental affection towards Bhagavan. And more this transcendental affection increases, the more the material idea of deity vanishes. Through their great good fortune, this divine consciousness gradually unfolds. In contrast, the devotees, the non-Aryan background that we are born with, non-Aryan religions generally oppose deity worship. Prabhupada even challenged with Arya Samaj. They don't believe in deity worship. But just consider how many of them have attained spiritual realization. I asked this to this gentleman who was promoting Arya Samaj. I said, but you don't accept deity. He said, yeah, but we are supporting, we are promoting Hinduism. I said, but how many have you got the spiritual realization that there is a form or not form? He could not answer. I said, none, zero. They waste their time in useless argument and malice. When have they experienced true devotion to Bhagavan? When? That's why Prabhupada gave a beautiful purport in Bhagavad-Gita. He said that our first duty in the spiritual life is to remove the infection of the virus, germ. How? By 5 process. Daily sadhana, do some practical service, chant the holy name, associate with the devotees, and always hear spiritual topics. If you do these 5 things and honor Krishna Prasadam, then you will be removing the infection of the material discontamination on earth. And then second, Prabhupada says in the same purport that you will regain the strength after you eat the, because this sloka talks about the food, you regain your spiritual consciousness, then you can focus on Krishna and that connection. So self-realization is not enough. God realization is needed. But God realization should come also simultaneously when the self-realization progresses. Both we need. We need to know who we are, what is this material world, who Krishna is, and relationship to establish. Okay. Number 11. Someone please help me.
I will read, Prabhuji. The holy name of Krishna, his body and his pastimes cannot be understood by blunt material senses. They are manifest independently.
Thank you, Mata. In other words, when we are in this service attitude, respectful to the Vaishnavas, the holy name will manifest naturally. We cannot force, but we must do something called begging, praying desperately, and the holy name will. And Mayavadi will never do this. They will never chant your name. This is, so holy name will never reveal to them. Okay, number 12, we're doing very well. We have only a few more.
Hare Krishna.
Someone?
I can read.
Yes.
Okay. The holy name of Krishna, his transcendental qualities and pastimes, as well as Lord Krishna himself, are all equal. They are all spiritual and full of bliss. Therefore, material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and pastimes. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's food, the tongue is purified, and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Very good. I hope you all are experiencing this. It's needed. Needed that we actually every day taste Krishna consciousness. Ek bar Hari Nama Rase Matare. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sing the song. Mind, please taste it. Name Rasa Matare. Please taste it. It is necessary. We sing every day Mangalarti. Shri Radhika Madhavayara Param Madhurja Leela Gunarupa Namnam Tatati Daksh Ati Vallabha. No. What is this third line? Pratikshana. Pratikshana Ashadan. What?
Pratikshana Swadana Lolupasya.
Lolupasya. What is Lolupasya?
Intense greed.
They are greedy. Prabhupada is greedy. All the senior devotees are greedy to taste it. If you look at the word before that, Ashadhana, Lolupasya, to taste it. This is required. This is compulsory required. Mayavadi never gets it. Will never get it. And if we don't get it, means Mayavadism is still contaminated, contaminating little bit. Okay, number 13. Done. Just 1, 2 more, 3 more.
I will read, Prabhuji. The melodies of Lord Krishna's pastimes, which are full of bliss, attract the Gnani from the pleasure of Brahman realization and conquer him.
See, this is what you can say, that look, Sukdev Goswami was a Brahmavadi, Durvasa Rishi was a Brahmavadi, Astabhakra Muni was Brahmavadi. There's so many. How come Durvasa, they fell in love with Krishna? So why don't you accept that Lilananda or the pastime the Lord does is much higher than Brahmananda? They cannot answer when you really challenge them. This is very nice. Okay, next one.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
Dhanyavad.
Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, the son of Vyasadeva, Shukadeva Goswami. It is he who defeats all inauspicious things within this universe. Although in the beginning he was absorbed in the happiness of Brahman realization and was living in a scheduled place, giving up all other types of consciousness, he became attracted by the most melodious pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. He therefore mercifully spoke the supreme Supreme Purana known as Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the bright light of the absolute truth and which describes the activities of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. This is the first was talking that Lilananda is higher than Brahmananda. Then he's talking about Brahmanandi. So it's a philosophy and the person who advocate both. Okay, one more. Number 15.
The living entity and the absolute personality of Godhead are never to be considered equal, just as a fragmental spark can never be considered the original flame. Hare Krishna.
Now, with that note, I don't want to disappoint you if you think like Shankaracharya did this Mayavadism. Maybe it never occurred in your heart, which is good. And if it occurs, please read this. So don't accuse Shankaracharya, ever. It will be a big offense because he's Lord Shiva himself. Someone please read this one.
Yeah, I will read this, Prabhu. Shankaracharya, who is an incarnation of Lord Shiva, is faultless because he is a servant carrying out the orders of the Lord. But those who follow his Mayavadi philosophy are doomed. They will lose all their advancement in spiritual knowledge.
Prabhu, please read the next one also.
Is Shankaracharya Mayavadi? Preaching is an act of bhakti. To allure the asuras, Sri Krishna made his great devotee Mahadev Shankara preach Mayavadi, which is nothing but covered Buddhism and is against the principles of the Vedas. From an eternal perspective, this does not seem to be bhakti, but from the transcendental perspective, it is bhakti, because Mahadev Deva simply carried out the orders of Bhagavan to bewilder the asuras.
Oh, what happened? Sorry.
Yeah, I think I'm dead.
Okay, you did. Very good. So we got complete idea about, I mean, not complete, but more or less some idea. Would somebody like to share? Because I want to give the conclusion after that of one little paraphrase there. Let's see. What are the Mayavadism that something related to our day-to-day life that we can experience whether we have or not? Anyone would like to share out of these 15 slides? Who are the Mayavadis? How will you recognize?
Yeah, so Prabhu, I was making note, Prabhu. If you want, I can
good.
share, Prabhu. So
give me one.
No, they don't accept the meaning of the scriptures in a direct way. That was the first point.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, they do not accept Krishna's personal form.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mother Tiffany. One more, at least 3 out of 14, 15.
Yes, Prabhu. They don't accept the deity form of Lord. They don't accept the deity form.
They don't accept the deity form as an eternal form.
Yes, as an eternal form. Sorry.
Can you see that also within some amongst us? Sometimes we don't believe. I mean, Krishna is there in Golok Vrindavan, but here in the temple, I know this is like a temporary deity install, but ultimately I'm going to go to Golok Vrindavan. It's not really attached to the deity. Maybe it's just me. Never happened to anyone ever thought.
Prabhuji, the Mayavadis also believe that the supreme truth is Brahman, and which is unlimited, without form, qualities, or activity. And according to their philosophy, all the living entities are one with Brahman and are covered by illusion.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Anybody remembers the 5 differences, eternal differences? At least give me 1, 2 out of 5.
Eternal difference between Mayavadis and Krishna, eternal difference between each 8
Wait,
matters.
Prabhu. Eternal difference between Mayavadi and Krishna? No, that's not one of the.
First one was
Maya and Krishna.
And living entities.
Maya and Krishna, that's difference. Yes.
Maya and soul.
Maya and Krishna.
Okay. Maya and Krishna, not Mayavadi and Krishna. Okay.
Maya and Krishna.
Maya and soul.
Maya and soul. Very good. 2. 3 more.
The eternal difference between every soul.
Every soul will never become one. Good. I mean, good in it. Okay.
Eternal difference between each 8 matters.
Very good. Each elements of the material. Yes, nature. Good. Good. What else missing? One more.
The difference between Krishna and the servant.
Living
Wonderful. Entity. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. Okay. Any other point on the Mayavad fault?
One thing I remember, Prabhu, that Leelananda is greater than Brahmananda.
Leelananda is greater than Brahmananda. And there is a proof of any person. Give me some name.
Name of what, Prabhu? Leelananda?
Yeah, give me any name.
Okay.
Can I say a difference, Prabhuji?
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, the difference between a Mayavadi philosopher and a Krishna consciousness person is that the Mayavadi philosopher has only imperfect knowledge of God, whereas the Krishna consciousness person can understand Krishna fully. The example is like this, that if a person may know about the sunlight, but that does not mean that he knows about the sun god within the sun planet. And within the sun, there is a sun god named Vivaswan, and his body, and his body and the bodies of the other inhabitants are made of fire. So it is the heat from these fairy bodies that gives warmth and light to this universe. So if someone knows something about the sunlight, it doesn't mean that he has the knowledge about Viswasan. Similarly, from Krishna's spiritual body, there is a emanation of the Brahman effulgence, but even if they are able to merge into this effulgence emanating from Krishna's body, are able to merge into the effulgence emanating from Krishna's body, that does not give them perfect knowledge of the source of everything.
Very good. You gave a very overall, very nice. This is, I appreciate that. That's very wonderful. Anybody else would like to share?
Yes, Prabhu. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
In my everyday practical life, and I'm sure in some instance we come in contact with Mayavadi, energy. So my take on the Mayavadi is that they're very, I'm not trying to be offensive here, but I'm getting the impression that they think that they're God. You know what I mean? They're like, law and master, you know, and that's the move that I'm getting from Mayavadi. They're they're much better than, you know what I mean? They're classic Hiranyakasipu. And, you know, that's a negative to me, and, you know.
Very good. Very good. So, Mother Ishopanishad, I am sure you are not heavy with them, but you are mercifully giving them some prasadam because your nature is so compassionate.
Jai, Hari Bol, Hari Krishna.
Thank you.
And
Thank
another
you.
thing, I want to say one more thing about Mayavadi energy. They're all around us, you know, and so when you're chanting the holy name, or even when you're just calling out on the name of God, you know, that's why it's so important for me to just say Haribol everywhere I go. You know what I mean? I've actually taken good morning out of my, you know, because it's so important for people to hear that Haribol, Hare Krishna, because we're surrounded by so much of that non-belief in God, you know?
Yes, yes. In the beginning, I mentioned that 4.10 Bhagavad-Gita, Prabhupada said we are born with it. Scary, isn't it? To think like, what? I was born with my mother. What? Yeah. Thank you. That's very nice. Keep on going, Mother. That's very nice. Okay, anyone else?
Prabhuji,
hey, Purushottam Prabhu, nice to see you, Prabhu.
It's my good fortune to hear your class again. Prabhu, the main point that you mentioned, Shad Aishwarya, that the Lord having, this Mayavadis, they ignore it and they say Nirakar. That is the greatest symbol of ignorance. And also the three major potencies, Sat, Ananda, they ignore that and they say Nishakti. That is another greatest mistake in their philosophy. These 2 points I just like to say.
This is so nice, interesting point, Prabhu. Life is useless without these 2 points, isn't it?
Exactly.
I mean, what's the value of this, any existence? What's the value if you don't have this wonderful loving exchange with the Lord through this Shakti, you know, and all the opulences? Where is the enjoyment if there's no opulences? What is Brahmananda there?
Exactly. And
you know,
the irony is still
logic.
The irony is still they attach to name, fame, glory, but still they say we are detached from matter. That is the biggest joke.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That was very nice.
So much.
That was
Thank
very
you.
nice. Why I'm so impressed that how in the audience, how many devotees are really desperately removing this Mayavadism from their life. And please extend and remove your neighbor's Mayavadism also from their heart. Any other? This is like a wonderful. You all got grasped it.
Hare Krishna,
now I'll show you
Prabhuji.
the. Yes, Mother.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say thank you for. There's many things. Of course, I appreciated your entire class, but I really want to thank you for reminding us or telling us to remember every day that I'm eternal, Krishna is eternal, and my relationship with Krishna is eternal. That's so important. I'm so grateful for that. I'm also grateful for the last 2 slides about Shankaracharya, because sometimes I do read things about his teachings and I do feel a little negative toward him. So I'm so grateful that you showed us those last 2 slides. And then I have one question. If you remember this phrase you used when you were talking about understanding that Krishna has an eternal form, and you said something like serious devotee association is the root of what? Do you remember what you said?
Serious devotee. This is I got from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I just paraphrase in my own way and Prabhupada.
Okay.
That those who are serious and sincere, they have 9 symptoms. Maybe next class I'll propound this. So, because in ISKCON, when someone asks, how do you know ISKCON gurus? I mean, somebody literally asked me that they're pure devotee. I said, how do you know the definition of pure devotee? Where you come up with the word pure devotee? Where it says that? He said, well, I'm asking you. I said, no, you're challenging. You're not asking. You said in ISKCON, how do you know they're a pure devotee? That's a challenging question. If you ask, then you have to say, can you please explain me? And you coming from outside, obviously you have some challenging mood. You think that we don't. And then he apologized, and then we sat down, I remember, and then we talked about these 9 symptoms. Kanti abharta kalattam viraktimana sunnata asabandha samutkanta namagan. So after explaining the whole thing, he said, wow. I said, who is your authority? Is Rupa Goswami Pad is your authority? And if you don't have a Rupa Goswami Pad, you don't have Lord Chaitanya, you don't have any Krishna Prema idea. He said, no, of course. I said, this is spoken by Rupa Goswami Pad. Now I give you some name in ISKCON, the senior devotees, and see if these 9 symptoms, you go and spend 1 month and see if these 9 symptoms exist or not. He could not say anything. I mean, he's a sannyasi from outside. He was ISKCON before, but he went and came back. So anyway, it was very nice. So I always like go by this, that when our Acharya says something, they are giving a reference of Rupa Goswami Pad or Mahaprabhu's own opinion, that we have to align with this. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his explanation, he said that this irrevocable conclusion is that association of serious and sincere devotee is the root of all spiritual advancement. So then Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, when we associate with the serious devotees of Bhagavan, we also have to have a clear idea that they are situated on this 9 principle, the 9 symptoms that within them, what make them make their consciousness as a divine consciousness. It's not just a word, it's a substance. Form without the substance is not very good foundation. So they have a substance, means those quality they have in their consciousness. When we associate with them, it will awakens our transcendental affection towards Bhagavan. And more this transcendental affection increases, the more material idea of Jaipur marble. I don't know if you know the expression, what I'm trying to say, someday. Oh, where is this deity from? Oh, it's from Mayapur, Neem wood. Yes, it is there, but those ideas will reduce and decrease, and eventually it will disappear because of their reciprocation with the deity. So it is very important. The more this transcendental affection increases, the more the material idea of the deity vanishes. And through great good fortune, this divine consciousness gradually will unfold in each of our heart. I would say in contrast, you can find many other, like Arja Samaj I was mentioned how. And then I also took the Prabhupada's 2 part, the self-realization and God connection, how it is so important. Because in our life, we see that maybe none of you ever experienced, but I did experience. Is the form, we are worshipper of form, or we are worshipper of substance, or we worship both? Yeah, in the material domain, we need to go beyond the form to perceive the substance. Bhagavatam began with this, Vedam Vastavam Atra Vastu Shivadam Trapa Trayana Unmulana. In the spiritual domain, when spiritual domain means when we actually transcend these 3 modes, the form is the substance, not before, and is also the way to the substance. Through our reciprocation, we will actually start talking with Krishna. We will see his presence in our life. Everything is happening that he's there with us. You'll feel that presence.
Hare Krishna. When you just made that comment, I had to say Haribol. That is so true. Hare Krishna. Haribol.
Thank you. Thank you, Mother.
Jai Haribol.
I hope this gives you some idea, Mother Tiffany.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That was everything you said was just so beautiful and so powerful. I truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Okay. Any other question? I was going to show the last, but it's no time, but it's okay. Just to ask you whether are you liberated right now? You want to test yourself, see if you have these 8 symptoms. Because when there is a Mayavadi, Mayavadi brags about it. I said, bring the evidence where it says the symptom of liberated soul. Let's see. I don't want to brag about it, but let's see my life and your life. You talk about Mayavadi, this idea of, let's see, according to the sloka. They all agree to the same sloka. But when they go through the 8 symptoms, they fail. I haven't met anybody. I'm not searching either, but I haven't met anybody that I boldly say, I can show you hundreds of devotees in ISKCON. They are above this 8 level, that liberated condition. Therefore, bhakti works. It is not the philosophy we only believe, but we also experience. We want more Krishna experience than Krishna explanation. And it's a fact.
Krishna is so personal. He's personal.
Yes.
He's like your friend. You can associate with him. You can talk to him. He's everywhere. He's everything. And to have darshan with Krishna is amazing. Don't you just love that about that association? We can have that one-on-one with God. That's just really wow.
Wonderful.
So,
may you all get blessed with that relationship one-on-one with Krishna. It's wonderful. We need it.
Prabhuji, just wanted to share. I had read somewhere. Usually, I read books a lot, but Sri Rupa Goswami advises that devotees who have already tasted the nectar of devotion should be very careful to protect devotional service from such dry speculators, formal ritualistic elevationists, and impersonal salvationists. Devotees should protect their valuable jewel of spiritual love from the clutches of thieves and burglars. In other words, a pure devotee should not describe devotional service and its different analytical aspects to dry speculators and false renouncers. Those who are not devotees can never achieve the benefits of devotional service. For them, the subject of devotional service is always very difficult to understand. Only persons who have dedicated their lives into the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead can relish the real nectar of devotion. So, Prabhuji, my question is that, because we are all, feeling the love of Lord Krishna, and we are, our lives are dedicated onto his lotus feet, without criticizing, without finding faults on the other Vedas or scriptures or other Gurujis or Swamijis or anyone, any personality, anyone, how can we explain or how can we make them understand? Though they will not understand, but still, as you said, we should not judge them. We should have compassion towards them. We should pray for them. So how do we make them understand without criticizing or judging any scriptures or any Vedas or anything of that kind? I think Krishna would never say that you should criticize and then you have to say Krishna consciousness is better than yours.
That's very nice. Very nice. Are you mother? Just a curious question.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. If your child doesn't want to take medicine, will you chastise him or you will trick him to take the medicine? Him or her, whoever.
Yeah, I will treat him. Yes, Prabhuji.
Correct. Why? Because you care for them.
Yes.
Similarly, when we actually act on behalf of Prabhupada, instrument of Krishna, we find a tricky way. Just like they challenge some brahmachari to Radhanath Maharaj, this professor going by, We try, almost all the professor in this university got barfi and prasadam. But this professor, he never wants to take. Maharaj said, why are you asking me? He said, Maharaj, if you can, because he is holding a big chair in this university. Maharaj said, this is not our goal to force somebody if he doesn't want. Maharaj, please, please, please. So Maharaj went with the cookies. He said, sir, my mother made these cookies to distribute. If you take cookie, it will make her happy. And you can tell me whether its cookie is good, then I'll tell her. The way Maharaj, you know how Radhanath Maharaj speaks so softly. And this professor was a little shocked. He said, okay, let me taste little. Then he took one. Would you like one more? Yes, I can try one more. And he took. So then we asked, Maharaj, you lied. Your mother didn't make it. He said, in the temple, all the Matajis are mother. How can you say we lie? So Maharaj shown that you have to trick. Now you may say, well, he said he lied, his mother made it. No, he didn't lie. Spiritually, he didn't lie because he's a sannyasi, he never was married either. So some way or other, we have to benefit others. Why? Because we see them, that they are on our way. Krishna sent them. It will please Krishna the most. A mother will be so happy when the child is taking the medicine and will get cured. Will you agree or not?
Yes, but how to make her understand that this medicine is for her good? Because if I tell you are not understanding, if I start criticizing her, she wouldn't rather take the medicine. She would say that you are just telling just because you want me to take this medicine.
No, you have to know the way, just like this person came to Prabhupada. Now, when I mentioned this before, because I met this devotee, he's still active. He said, I would never become devotee. But he lost few of his men. He was a big drug dealer. You heard that story, I'm sure. He was a big drug dealer. And he gave so much money to build one temple. You know, Loganabhi's temple was built on that money. But anyway, so he came to Prabhupada and he says, what is this pleasure my boys are getting from here? Prabhupada says, oh, what are you looking for? He said, I'm just curious, what kind of happiness in spiritual world or spiritual domain? And Prabhupada says, spiritual pleasure is like an ocean of LSD. Now, no scripture will ever say that, never said that, I never heard it. In the spiritual world, there is no, drug or LSD. But Prabhupada said like that. And this man, because only thing he believes is LSD, only thing he experiences is LSD. When Prabhupada said spiritual world is like an ocean of LSD, he said, I'm joining. He said, good, take the Japamala and chant. Now, is that a favor to him?
Yes.
But it took some time for them to grasp it, but he realized after a few years, oh, he tricked me. There's no LSD in spiritual world, but then he became a devotee. Krishna is happy, he will be happy eternally. Yeah. So we have to adapt. I'm not saying that we have to be a little rude, but it depends on each person. But if we really feel compassionate, it will go. Our heart tenderness of our heart will be there for them. We can't help it.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
I have another question though, a comment. Just by him having association with Srila Prabhupada, he was doomed to become attached just from being in association with a pure devotee. Isn't that correct?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Duryodhan met Krishna many times. He did not become devotee.
Mm-hmm.
It is our consciousness, impurity, how we are connected to Krishna through the consciousness. That control is with us. It's not with Krishna. Whether we love or not, Krishna will never force. That is the beauty. So we have to care each soul in such a way that they develop some affection, some care, something for the Lord. Then they will go on. Thank you. It's a wonderful question you asked. I thank all of you for participating in this beautiful discussion today. And Mother Radha probably thinking it's 9 o'clock. Is he going to stop? Yes, we are going to stop here. She's very kind. She tolerates. And thank all of you for giving me blessing and inspiration so we could discuss. So we can end here. Mother Radha, she disappeared.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Pran Govind Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu, for walking us through 6th canto, 1st chapter, 12th verse, and the verse was talking about Jnana Yogis. And you clearly highlighted the difference, like in the purport, Prabhupada was saying the Jnana Yogis understand what is pious and impious, but they are blurred about, they don't catch hold of the lotus feet of the Lord. And with your points, like those 15 or 16 points, you have summarized from many, many places, Prabhu, with reference, so that we better understand and ingrain, how contrasting Mayavadis are from devotees. Yeah? And one question came up was the compassion, about compassion, about Srila Prabhupada's compassion, and how to, that this is a perfect question, because the Parishit Maharaj also is compassionate about the souls who are going to the hellish planets. And just I got a glimpse of how to be compassionate, how deep compassion is. And thank you very much, Prabhu, for taking time to prepare those slides and putting in a bullet points like a teacher is teaching to small kids, so that when it is written, when we read, when we ingrain, right, it slowly enters into our bloodstream and our consciousness to understand how that one striking point for me is how Nithyananda is different from Brahmananda, right? So
Yes.
that's one, Prabhu. If you have time, can I ask one question, Prabhu?
If Mother Radha allows.
Okay. No, Prabhuji, you have to allow Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, can go ahead, Prabhuji.
So, Prabhu, like we see in the 14th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita that when the Lord Krishna says, when we are Atita, when we go above modes of material nature, we are on the Brahman platform, right, Prabhu? Like in end of 14th chapter. So the Brahman platform that Lord Krishna is talking about, is it same as the Brahman platform that Jnana Yogis aspire for?
This is a very nice question. You have a very intelligent, thoughtful question. If I ask you a question, say you say to me, I was there, I was so happy. Then if I ask you, no, I'm sorry, I will ask the other question first. If you say, oh, I had a good sleep. It was so good, I can't explain. I said, why can't you explain? See, because I don't remember anything. Only when I woke up, I said it was a good, happy sleep. But how do you prove it that you had a good, happy sleep when you don't remember no records? You understand my question?
Yeah.
But you are exclaiming when? After you came out of the sleep, not during the sleep.
Yes.
So how do you prove it was a good sleep? It could be dead. Because your consciousness, thinking, feeling, willing has no trace. And we know this. This is Sushupti stage. There's a 5-layer of progression. Pratyaksha, Paroksha, Aporoksha. This is Aporoksha stage in a sense that you don't have a record, but you express after you came out of it. So that is one kind of Brahmananda. But there is no evidence that this is actually higher or not higher, because nobody ever recorded anything. You understand my concept? Like during deep sleep, there is no record, but you are claiming after you came out of it that it was a great sleep.
Yes.
You can say, now I feel good. You cannot say you had a great sleep. I mean, even though we say it, I'm sure you said also maybe, oh, I had a good sleep. How do you know? So when we talk about this Brahmavadis or Mayavadi's conception of Brahmananda, it is not traceable. Because there is no evidence ever recorded or proved. Just like in a morning walk, Prabhupada saying, this big tree, how long they live? So one disciple said, Prabhupada, they live for 500 years, such a giant tree. He said, yeah, they are all Gyanis. Tree doesn't live that long, these are Gyanis. They want to merge. In Madhya chapter 8, Ramananda Rai Sangbad, it's Mahaprabhu asked the question to Ramananda Rai. Sthabar deho dev karmi geni kaha duhar gati. Sthabar deho deva deho jaiche avastiti. So Ramananda Rai answered that the Gyanis, they merge into this non-moving body. Did not say they go above 3 modes. It's a very mystical. See, they don't know a lot of things that Mahaprabhu revealed. We know because we are fortunate, came to this parampara. We know the secret. It's unfortunate those Mayavadis or even impersonalists. Really unfortunate that they are not coming in contact with Mahaprabhu. So then one devotee, of course, he was excited. He said, Prabhupada, there is a shopping plaza called Home Depot, and we can buy a chainsaw and cut down all these big trees and deliver the Gyanis, impersonalists. You know how the devotee's excitement. Prabhupada said, that's not how you deliver the Gyanis, by cutting down the trees. He said, you have to change their consciousness. Nobody can be delivered unless their consciousness change. So from that angle, if we look at it, the impersonalist, there are 2 types, Prabhupada says. One is things Brahman, another focus on illusion. And there's the details given in the purport. I can give you the reference. I'll put it on, I'll send it to you. That it's a very details given. Prabhupada gave very nice. There are 2 types of Mayavadi, but their conception of Brahmananda is one thing. Our conception of Brahmananda is another thing. If you can say right now, I'm sure you did many times in your life, my Lord, from this moment, I am yours. I don't want any other existence beside you as my Lord, Master. I am your servant. Please accept me, my Lord. Please never let me go. Never let me forget you. Doesn't matter whatever I do, my family, everything, but I never want to forget you. I'm sure for even a 30 seconds, every devotee in ISKCON, they do. I believe that. I could be wrong, but I believe they at least came some point in life to really express that surrender. And there is a relief they experience also at that moment. That relief is also Brahmananda. But it is difficult to sustain until they have these 5 things together, Prabhupada says. Daily sadhana, they must study daily. But the way Prabhupada said, I'm paraphrasing, that you have to draw happiness. When you do sadhana, not like trying to finish the rounds, I'm happy that I'm serving the Lord. I feel happy. That connection is required. And at the end of this Zoom, okay, I like this conclusion. Like Mother Tiffany says, I am eternal. God is eternal. I have a relationship. I like that. The fear of temporary life, getting old, is not bothering. So that means we also have to experience happiness on the Siddhanta conclusion. Prabhupada didn't give whole details, but he said that conclusive truth, one should be happy on conclusive truth. So I took it as a Siddhanta. So sadhana, seva, Siddhanta, then sadhaya. Are you excited every day? Yes, Bhakti Japasanga group going to have a class now. Haribol, I'm feeling happy. Ask yourself, if we all agree, then you are already in Brahmananda platform. If you say, oh no, another class again, that's sad. I hope nobody ever feel that way. Because you are going away. You got a return ticket to Mayadevi or something. No, you should feel happy, joyful, excitement, hearing that there will be another class, there will be another discussion. So like this, can you reflect to me? Sadhana, seva. Seva Prabhupada says something do practical. Something you like to do. You like to cook, then cook every day for Krishna. You like to clean, do cleaning. Something practical, not impractical. Practical. I like that way Prabhupada said. Seva, so sadhana, seva, then siddhanta, then sangha. You happy to be with the Bhakti Japa Sangha group. Believe me, I have many other classes, but if I didn't have any other classes, I would be here every day. Because I like this group. This is a very vibrating, vibrant, like Krishna conscious group. You want to be contagious by the purity of other pure devotee, then we elevate our consciousness. It's a natural practical. So did I say all these 5? Can somebody reflect? Then we can end. Sureshwar Prabhu.
Yes, sadhana, seva, siddhanta, sangha, and one more thing, Prabhu.
Sadhana, seva, siddhanta, sadhaya.
What is that, Prabhu? Shraddhaya.
Yeah.
Faith.
Okay. Sadhana, seva, then siddhanta, then sadhaya, and sangha. So you have 5.
Sadhyaya.
Yeah.
Siddhanta and Sadhyaya are same, right, Prabhu?
No. There's a devotional principle and spiritual insight.
Okay.
2 are separate.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Spell, I'm sorry, could you spell sadhaya?
Sadhaya is S-B. In English, how do you do it? I write always in my language. S-V-A-D-H-Y, I believe.
Swadhyaya, yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Purushottam Prabhu, he's a genius. He's from Qatar. Not because he's from Qatar, I'm just joking. He's actually very scholarly, very nice devotee. I'm so happy to hear him too. Wonderful. Is that okay, Sureshwar Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. This word comes, Prabhu, actually in 17th chapter, 15th verse. This one, the word Swadhyaya, Vedic study, right?
How they spelled it?
S-V-A-D-H-A-Y-A. I will ping it.
D-H-Y. Very good. Okay, wonderful. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu, for your time today. And thank you all devotees for joining and participating. And Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sangha group ki jai. Vande Hari Hari Bo.
Thank you for tolerating my interruptions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you.